I did Kyoto and Osaka with my family, and then I was like, to make things easier, why don't you actually join me at the hotel where I'm staying? So he joined me one weekend. I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna shower because we're gonna be physically intimate, but like nothing. So what we actually end up doing is like planning the next 8 days because like nothing had been booked in advance. We decide to go the next day to this place called Kobe. We get ourselves one of these K cars, like KEI. So these like light automobiles that were created right after World War II to encourage affordable, efficient cars for the Japanese people. They're amazing. They're like really tiny. They're like box shaped. And, you sort of think that you don't have a lot of space, but when you get in there, it's like quite a spacious little box, maybe even bigger than my studio here in Paris. Once that's all sorted, we start heading towards Kobe, this like port town, and we find ourselves at a retail and leisure center right at the port. It's a beautiful day. It's like November time, but like I feel freezing. Like I had bought myself this Arc'teryx sort of light raincoat slash puffer, but like a very light puffer. And I was like freezing. We decide to go try okonomiyaki, which is this like Japanese pancake, which is usually filled with like pork and seafood. And then after we head to an Americana cowboyish vibe shop where he finds himself this traditional native shirt in a fleece. And then we head to Himeji, where the castle is a designated UNESCO World Heritage Site. But having not planned anything in advance, we arrive really late, just at sunset, and like everything is closed. We can't go into the castle. So we walk around, look a bit at the gardens, get ourselves these like hot drinks in metal bottles, which I adored. You can get like hot coffee, hot tea, milky. They're amazing. So we take some selfies in front of the castle, and then we head on over to another prefecture called Okayama. We end up in this town called Tamano. We head there because, that's one of the ports where you can grab the ferry to go to those two contemporary art islands, Naoshima and Tashima. We find ourselves this like new build hotel called the Uno Hotel after the port called Uno Port. What's great about it is that the facilities are great. You can get these like capsules that you sleep in for like one person, or pods or whatever. But then you can also get like bigger rooms, like double rooms. We ended up getting a double with a beautiful view of the port. What's great about it also is that there's like a neighboring onsen slash hot spring where you can get like spa treatments, etc. The next morning, we wake up, we go down to the lobby around like 9:30, and the reception, they tell us that breakfast is closed. Like the breakfast service had ended like half an hour prior. And, this guy is like super angry. He's like, I hate Japan. It sort of goes against this whole idea of like living life day by day. He's like, you can't do anything impulsively in this country. They're so strict. They're so regimented. Like, why would anyone want to live here? And I don't say anything. I'm just sort of taking in his frustration. But, deep down, I'm like, you were the one who suggested that we meet in Japan. You also had lived 5 years in Tokyo. Like, why are you getting so angry? I just didn't understand. And so the receptionist points us in the direction of another cafe, which is like directly opposite the hotel. It's like a 5-minute walk away. We head on over to that cafe. That cafe tells us like breakfast service is over. And so this guy gets angry again. He's like, I can't believe it. We can't do anything in this country, blah, blah, blah. But the cafe does provide us a workaround solution, which is like you can have coffee or tea plus scones. So I'm like, I'm gonna have a scone. Like, I'm not gonna get my knickers in a twist. Knickers in a twist. We order ourselves 2 hot drinks. I have my scone. We sit on the terrace with like the sun shining on our faces. It's a lovely day. We start to do research on the tickets for Naoshima and Tashima. On the official website for those islands, we find out that actually you have to book tickets online. They're not into like buying tickets at the door. You have to buy single tickets for each of the art installations on those islands. And then once again, this guy's like, oh my gosh, like, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna buy the tickets. Like, I don't have time to like put my credit card details into this website. And by that stage, I was like super angry. I was like, here I am trying to have a lovely time, enjoy this country, and here is this guy in front of me like non-stop complaining. And like, I don't know if it's a French thing. Like, is it just because you're French, like you're allowed to complain 24/7, or are you just like a grumpy old man in your 40s? You know what I mean? So I can't really control my frustration at his frustration. So I sort of burst and I'm like, you know, either I could sit here and buy the tickets, or I could be passive and not do anything. Then he sort of bites back and he's like, Kevin, you know, it would be so nice to get your help here. You don't know how much work I've put into like devising this whole itinerary for us. You know what? I'm gonna head on over to the convenience store and I'll meet you at the ferry. I mean, he didn't raise his voice. That's like a good thing, but clearly he didn't appreciate my passive aggressiveness there. I definitely felt bad for it. You know, I meet him at the ferry and I apologize and we go on with our day. A little ASMR break because I'm freezing and I need to put on this cardigan. We get off the ferry at Naoshima. You know, there are two ways for like tourists to get around the island. Either you can rent bicycles and cycle around on these like gorgeous Japanese roads, which kind of remind me of the Swiss roads that I grew up with. Or you can get the local bus, which is so adorable. It's like a tiny little bus that's like super short, and they will always prioritize local bus goers rather than tourists. So like imagine there's like a queue of locals. The locals will have priority to get on the bus. And so we decide to go the bicycle route. You know, we head to the bicycle rental place and they ask tourists to provide identification, so like passports or ID cards. And of course, the French guy didn't bring his ID. You lived in Tokyo for like 5 years and you didn't think to bring your ID. It's just kind of funny. You know, we managed to like negotiate and get ourselves 2 bicycles, and we have a lovely day on the island. We see like many art pieces by the famous Japanese artist Yayoi Kusama, who's known for her giant pumpkins that are like yellow with like black spots or like red with black spots. So that was great. We spend the whole day there. We take the ferry back to Uno Hotel and we're just chilling in bed, like posting pictures of the day on Instagram. And I sort of want to be physically intimate, so you know, he's sitting on the bed on his phone. I head on over to where he is on the bed and I ask him if I can kiss him. And he's like, sure. So like I give him a peck on the lips, but like it's not reciprocated in any way. So I'm like, okay, not reciprocated. I'm gonna head on over back to my side of the room and we'll leave it at that.